Good day everyone, welcome to Digit Dojo. Alright, after a long time we are meeting. So in today's lesson we'll be learning about chapter 2 quadratic function, which is chapter 2 of Form 4 and Maths. Okay, so specifically in today's lesson we'll be learning about quadratic equation and inequalities. Okay, so what is meant by quadratic equation and inequalities? Okay, when it comes to equation means you have to know it's equal to something. Okay, some equation, it's equal to something. When it's inequality, it's not equal to something, so we'll be using this symbol, more than or less than, or more than equal to or less than equal to. Okay, so when it's equation we'll be using equal symbol. Okay, so first of all, why we call it quadratic equation? Why is it not a linear equation? Why it's not cubic equation? So when we call it quadratic equation, the highest value of x will be 2. Okay, so x will be square. The highest value in that equation, x will be 2. Okay, so for an example, quadratic equation in general form. Okay, in general form we will write it like this: ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. Okay, so what is the coefficient of x square? A. What's the coefficient of x? B. And the rest is c equal to 0. This is the general form. Okay, you will have coefficient for x square and coefficient for x and also the rest, and it should be equal to 0. It's called general form of quadratic equation. Okay, so for an example, let's take a very easy example. Maybe 2x square plus 4x plus 5 equal to 0. So here we know that our a is 2, the coefficient of x square. Our b is 4 and our c is 5. Okay, and next, how to solve this quadratic equation? First of all, we have to understand what is meant by solving. Why we call it solve? Let's say the question asks solve this quadratic equation. So you have to know what is solve. Solve means you have to find the value of x. Okay, value of x. So let's say in your quadratic equation you got this x, right? This x square and also x. You have to find the value for x. Okay, that is meant by solve. And we got 3 ways how to solve this quadratic equation. First of all, we call it completing the square. Completing the square, or in general it's CTS. Second, we'll do formula. There's a formula to get the value of x, or solving the quadratic equation, which is known as this formula: x equals to negative b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac over 2a. This is the formula to get the value of x. And the last one is we can use factorization. This is the most easiest one, factorization, and we commonly use this method to solve the questions, quadratic equation. We will use calculator. Okay, but for this chapter, if they ask you to solve, they will more preferably ask you to use completing the square or the formula, because that's the longer part and they will give you marks based on the working lah. Factorization is for other questions like that. Okay, so first, completing the square. What are the rules? There are 2 rules that you must fulfill to do this completing the square. First, it must be in general form. The equation must be in general form: ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. And the second rule is a must be equal to 1. It must be always equal to 1. Let's say your a is 2 or 5 or anything, you must divide the whole equation with the coefficient of x. Divide everything with a so that you get a equals to 1. Okay, these are the 2 rules that you have to make sure it's fulfilled, okay, before doing the completing the square. So after doing the completing the square, your final output, your quadratic equation, will be from the general form. It will be in this form: a h plus k square plus m maybe. Okay, so it will be in this form. You'll be having in the bracket square and the rest, and for sure it's equal to 0. Okay, this is the final output, right? Okay, so now we'll see example, okay, how to solve quadratic equation based on this completing the square method. Okay, so that's first example, x square plus 4x plus 2 equal to 0. How to do this one? Alright, so I'll teach you step by step how to do the completing the square. First, make sure the two rules are fulfilled. Okay, first, is it in general form? Yes, because it's equal to 0. Okay, and we got x square, x and also the c. Second, is my a is 1. Since there's no any number beside the x square, it is 1. Okay, because in maths we don't write the 1 x square, we just write x square. So it is 1. Meaning to say that both rules are fulfilled. Now we can proceed with the method. First, x square, write 4x also. Now, very important step, put plus bracket square minus bracket square and plus, write the rest, plus 2 equal to 0. Okay, why we have to put this plus bracket square and minus bracket square? Because inside the bracket we are going to write the coefficient of x. Okay, coefficient of x, make sure to divide by 2. So in this question, what's the coefficient of x? Positive 4. So when positive 4 divide by 2, you will get 2. Okay, so make sure to write the coefficient of x inside the bracket. In both bracket, it's the same number. And next step, you have to write one big bracket, x. Okay, bring this x and also whatever things you write inside the bracket. Let's say you can write -5, -2. Sometimes you can get negative number also. Make sure to write inside the bracket and bring what you write inside the bracket, bring it down right here. Okay, x plus 2 square, and the rest you can use calculator. Okay, negative, so you will get -4 plus 2 is -2 equal to 0. Okay, this one use calculator, okay, to solve, and you can write here, and from here you will get to know that after that you have done the completing the square. Okay, completing the square done, but now we have to find the x value. So what you have to do, move the 2 that side. So you will be having x plus 2 square equal to 2. Move the 2 that side. Now remove the square. How to remove the square? X plus 2. When you want to remove the square, you must put square root on the another side after the equal. But when you want to put the square root, make sure to put plus minus. It's very important. Okay. So when you want to remove the square, make sure to put square root and also plus minus. Why is it important to put plus minus? Because 2 square can give you 4 and -2 square also can give you 4. So to get your 4, it can be either positive or negative. That is why we put positive and negative when we are removing square. Okay, coming back here. So there are two possibilities. X plus 2, you can get positive square root 2, and also x plus 2, you can get negative square root 2. Okay, so here x equal to square root 2 minus 2, which you will get negative 0.5858. This one x equal to negative square root 2 minus 2, which you will get negative square root 2 minus 2, negative 3.4142. Alright, so we finally got the answer for x. Okay, so this is by completing the square. Another example, let's quickly do this. Okay, in this question, it's not in general form and the x is not 1. Sorry, the a is not in 1. Okay, so what we have to do, make it into general form. 2x square plus 8x. Move this 7 to this side. Okay, negative 7 equal to 0. And I want to make sure my a is 1. So how to do it? Divide everything with 2. Okay, so I'll get x square plus 4x minus 7 over 2 equal to 0. Divide everything with 2, you will get the next equation. Okay, from here we'll start to do completing the square. How? again follow the method plus 4x plus bracket square minus bracket square minus 7 over 2 equal to 0. So what you have to put inside the bracket is the coefficient of x divided by 2. So here our coefficient is 4. 4 divided by 2, again 2. Here also 2. Next step, put a bracket, nice bracket and square. Bring the x and also bring whatever you write inside the bracket. Okay, so x plus 2. Okay, bracket, and the rest use calculator. Negative 4 minus 7 over 2. You will get negative 15 over 2 equals to 0. Okay, so after getting this one, the next step is you have to move the number to the opposite side. X plus 2 square equal to 15 over 2, and your x plus 2 will be plus minus square root 15 over 2. X plus 2 is plus minus square root of 15 over 2. So there are two possibilities. First, x plus 2 can be 15 over 2, square root 15 over 2, which is positive, or it can also be x plus 2 equals to negative square root 15 over 2. So when it's a positive, x equals to square root 15 over 2 minus 2, which you will get square root 15 over 2 minus 2, you will get 0.7386, and when it's negative, negative 15 over 2 minus 2, you will get negative 15 over 2 minus 2, negative 4.7386. So there are two values for x. So this is the first method how to solve quadratic equation based on completing the square method. Okay, next is how to solve the equation based on formula. Okay, so to do this formula, as I told you, there is one formula which is x equal to negative b plus minus square root b square minus 4ac over 2a. There is only one rule to use this formula. Make sure the quadratic equation is in general form. Okay, so let's take the one of the example, 2x square plus minus 3x plus 1 equal to 0. So my question is it in general form? Yes. Why? Because we got a, we got b, and we got c, which is equal to 0. Okay, so our a is 2, our b is negative 3. Make sure to put negative 3, it's not 3, negative 3, and our c is 1. Okay, how to use the formula now? X equals to negative b. So b is negative 3, so put it in bracket, negative 3 plus minus square root b square, negative 3 square, b square minus 4, a is 2, c is 1 over 2a. A is 2. That's it. Others all you just use calculator. X is 3 plus minus. Inside the square root you just use calculator. Okay. Negative 3 square minus 4 times 2 times 1, which will give you 1. So square root 1 is still 1. Sorry, 1 over 4. Okay. From here you got two possibilities. Since we are having plus minus, we can separate them. Okay, how to separate them? First, x is equals to 3 plus 1 over 4. Another possibility is x is equals to 3 minus 1 over 4. So when it's 3 plus 1, 4 divided by 4, you will get 1. X is 1. Here x you will get 2 over 4, which is x is 0.5. So there are two possibilities for, or two values for x. We call these values of x as roots, okay, which I will teach you in the next lesson, how to form quadratic function or quadratic equation from the given roots. Okay, we will be learning this in the next lesson. So as a summary, what we have learned in today's lesson is we have learned how to solve quadratic equation in completing the square and also the formula. Okay, and what is a quadratic equation? Alright, so that's all for our lesson 1. Thank you for watching and see you all in next lesson. Bye.